What is up, denizens of the interwebs? It's Arthur Chats here, coming at you with another video, and this time we're getting right into Penguin Episode 3. So far, The Penguin has been an incredibly strong show. However, there was that one hint of possible insertion of the agenda later into the show, where the showrunner said that people would distrust Sophia because of misogyny. Hopefully that's not really in the show, and we'll have to see if it is or not. But like, subscribe, and let's get into this. We got some development of Vic. He's got a girlfriend. And the first episode starts off with a decent bit about Victor and his dynamic with his family, his girlfriend, his friends, before the seawall had exploded for Gotham. And I'm just going to say this episode is, of course, starting out with a bang, like the rest of them have. Or in this case, I guess it's a boom. And it looks like Victor's family was wiped out when Gotham flooded. Penguin tells Vic that he's going to be his driver, or continue to be his driver, and he's going to be driving Sophia and Penguin out to dinner tonight. And Vic's freaking out about it, to which Penguin's like, I realize we haven't discussed salary, and hands him $1,000, so we're going to be doing it once a week. And then he follows up, if you ever want something, you gotta ask for it, so Vic asks for $2,000. Penguin has a good chuckle, goes, that's exactly what I mean, but no, and immediately goes to answer the door. As Sophia goes to enter Oz's apartment, Oz gets a call from Blackgate, most likely from Sal, so that means that Vic has to entertain Sophia, but of course he's terrified of her, because, she's a mass murderer. Kristen Milotti just demands the presence of every scene she's in. I completely forget to even say anything, because every time she's talking, I'm completely glued onto her, and that's not just because she's hot. And Sophia tells Penguin that she doesn't want Vic to come, just wants Penguin to drive, like old times, as she reveals that Penguin was Sophia's driver. They reveal that the drug that Alberto and Sophia was planning to sell, that Penguin has now stolen the idea of, it comes from Arkham Asylum and some very rare mushrooms. Vic brings his girlfriend into Penguin's place, which is certainly an idea. And so Victor's girlfriend tells him that she's leaving for California tomorrow morning and is inviting him along. And the entire conversation so far has been nothing but her telling Victor who he is or who he isn't. And he's currently planning to take off. Sophia gets cornered by one of the Falcone family members who says that they're laying low in the house and saying that she needs to take a hint. Go to Italy like she was told to do. To which she asks him if she printed out herself. And he goes, look, I know you're crazy, but I'm not scared of you. And that clearly is not something that's settling well with her. And he says 2 days to get to Italy, or I tell people that's where you went. Some pretty strong script writing as usual. And they're just doing everything they can to make Victor the most relatable character. He's trying to figure out what to say while in the car while babysitting the bag full of bliss, which is the new drug they've developed from the psychedelic mushrooms. And as Vic's sitting there, a cop comes up behind him. The cop pushes Vic against the hood of the car, goes to frisk him around, and finds the money that Penguin had paid him. He goes, that's a lot of money for a kid like your age to be carrying around. To which Vic looks at him and goes, what money? Which seems that he's trying to bribe the cop, and the cop accepts it. So this is about $600. And of course, Vic is retelling the story of the money, and Penguin is incredibly proud of him for it. Vic struggles to say what his order is, and the waiter fills him in, to which Penguin's like, no, he was talking, you respect him. And forces Vic to say it himself. He then says that you've got a lot of fight in you, kid. You gotta pull it out, and you gotta work with it. He then asks Victor what his parents did. The Falcone boss, when he's doing his dirty business, cheating on his wife, and is going to use that to blackmail and pressure him into making the phone call to the Daizao, which is the Chinese gang that they had made a deal with to sell bliss. Once they corner him in the room, they get Luca's wife out of there. Sophia takes charge of the situation, and Penguin backs her up. Even though it's very clear that doing so peeves Penguin. There's a lot of these little micro expressions that are being done throughout this show that just really go and convey everything. And Johnny's plan here is to undermine the Penguin's trust in everyone by saying the fact that no one has ever trusted him. And this, of course, getting under skin. And I like this one quote here. People keep the Penguin around as entertainment. And of course, Penguin snaps. He runs up and he shoves the phone straight into Johnny's mouth. But even in his pure rage, he still managed to keep on message and push it all back to Sophia being the one who was wronged. And Penguin has his prostitute friends from the last episode selling the bliss at Fang Zhao's party. Penguin keeps lifting up Victor while he's trying to debate whether or not he should leave with Gabriella. And this show's really clearly being shown to be written by someone who's really intelligent, and all the characters are equally intelligent. She asks him she says to him that I don't know who wants this more. To which Penguin takes a second and he goes, I want this for you. She responds with, you say all the right things, don't you, Oz? And she's having a crisis of faith over the claim that Penguin was the one who put her in Arkham. Sophia is doing a really, really good job of persuading Zhao, mentioning the fact that she would argue that all drug use has a basis in psychology, given the fact that Zhao's father was a psychologist. And then she's saying that Bliss is doing something great for the city, as well as patting their pockets, because it's giving people an escape from the horrors they've experienced. And that cuts to Vic walking around the dance floor, moving the product around, when he's looking at the text he got from his girlfriend saying that she's heading to the station now and she should see him soon. And then he starts having a PTSD effect whenever at the lights, imagining them as the bombs going off, blowing up the seawall. And the visuals are truly phenomenal in this scene. Penguin makes the deal. He finds Vic in the bathroom and he's celebrating. He's super excited. He's super proud of Vic because he clearly sees himself in Vic. And then he notices Vic's distracted by his phone, demands it hands over, and sees the text saying that he's going to be leaving, or might be. And this is, of course, absolutely devastating to Oz to hear him suggest that Vic might be a prisoner. And they have an amazing conversation where they're constantly fighting back and forth about how, well, Penguin at first thinks he's going to steal the money, and Vic's like, I'm not taking the money. And it's a whole bunch of just disconnected. It's a really tense, really great scene where Colin Farrell is doing an amazing job as Penguin in the portrayal of the emotion. Managing to handle that much emotional response while also piling in such a thick accent is truly amazing. He then tells Vic that he's free to leave because clearly he doesn't deserve the life that the Penguin's going to give him, and he goes to leave, and then he decides to take Penguin's car. Sitting at the bus stop in Penguin's car, he's looking at his girlfriend and deciding whether or not it's worth going. It seems like he's going to be settling a knot, and they use a mirrored image of Vic staring and then the Penguin staring in the exact same position. And combining this, or what happened with Vic, with the conversation with Sophia now, where he's talking about all the problems that they had, how he definitely did rat her out, though he is no rat, as he continues to insist, even though he objectively is a rat. Penguin's not having a whole bunch of aces right now. He seems to be losing every situation he's in this episode, which I'm heavily appreciating. Because the one issue with the other episodes is every single situation, he's always winning. His plan is always the correct one. But in this one, instead of him being on top, he is actually at the bottom, and he's usually having to take the more subservient role. The words he's saying to Sophia, he fucked it up, she means something to him, he's really sorry. All of it really sounds like it's what he wants to say to Victor, which I think is really awesome, because I believe that both of these are true, while it's also proposing his goal. The level of multifaceted writing in this is absolutely phenomenal. And as Sophia and Oz end their discussion, she asks him, how can I trust you? And she goes, how can I trust you? I don't know how to keep going on from here. And he says, let me show you. Which it just wraps it up in a perfect little bow. Their conversation was top notch. The writing in this just continues to astound. Then as soon as they're done, in comes an unmarked black van, which has Sal Maroney's wife in it and a bunch of gunmen. And we have Vic going back to the nightclub in Penguin's car. Maroney's wife has gunmen keep getting Sophia and Penguin down on their knees. And Vic arrives in time just to see this. And then he does exactly what you expect him to do. He runs the car right into them. I don't know if it's just the curtains are just blue situation, but the way they have the blood on his nose here looking is as if he snorted bliss. That could just be me reading into it as him letting go of his grief. Or it could just be he's got a bloody nose because he was just crashes the car. And they leave Sophia behind. But that's kind of her fault for not reacting faster. And that's the end of that episode. And this one is just as strong as the other one. The other two were, though not nearly as much happened in this one. I'd almost say this episode meandered, but it didn't really waste any beats unlike Agatha. That show, when it meanders, you feel it. And in this one, every single thing that feels like a waste really is just playing into the plot or the characters more. We get a lot more development for Victor, we get a lot more development for Penguin, we get a lot more development for Sophia. Everyone was heavily built upon in this episode, and everyone's feeling really meshing together. This episode is doing a lot to wave away a lot of the criticisms that I've seen for the previous episodes, where Penguin's always winning, because in this one, he's really not winning anything. He's really at the bottom of the barrel in this episode, and it's everyone else who's winning at his detriment. Though he's smart enough to play his losses as wins, but they're not really wins, because Sophia's the dominant force in this episode. There's nothing that I can say that I haven't already said about this show. It's just great. This episode, I'd probably give it a 9.2, a little bit lower than the other two, just because it meandered a little bit. Despite the fact that it meandered, it was still an hour-long episode, which is a little ridiculous. But that's really all there is that's to it. The episode is incredibly strong. The script is incredibly strong. Gotham is a character, and that is the most important part about a Batman project, is that Gotham is alive, and this city is alive. It is grieving. I cannot say it enough. Go out and watch The Penguin. You will not regret your decision. I promise you. This show is phenomenal. It takes a long time because the episodes are really long, but you don't feel the length. It really is just, it's something else. The script writing is top notch. The set is top notch. It doesn't look like it costs too much to make. The cast acts amazingly, especially Kristen Milotti, who is an amazing actress as she's playing Sophia. And by God, she proves one definitive thing. We need to bring smoking back, because by fuck is it hot. And of course, before I put the cart before the horse, let's make sure to see they didn't say anything stupid again in the post-credit scenes. So to kick off the end cap, the showrunner states that she wanted to make sure there was Mexican representation because she's half Mexican, and because Victor's actor is Dominican, she decided to do a half and half situation. And other than some pretty obvious insight, there's nothing really else going on in that ending part, so that's basically all we've got. The show is great. It's great. Just go and watch The Penguin. If you're waiting for it to go and be binge model, good luck with that. That's going to take a really long time, but you do you. But either way, you need to watch the show. It is phenomenal. It is dark. It is grungy, but it is also a little hopeful. It's not something that's going to make you feel depressed at the end of each episode. In fact, each episode has both a high and a low, and it's really well done. Obviously, I can't speak on the future right now, because right now, only 3 episodes are out. Still plenty of time for them to rip it all up and throw it away like yesterday's trash in service of the DEI mandates that HBO might try to enforce. But based on everything we have, it's such a solid show. It's so well done. The tension is phenomenal. You never know what's happening next. And you can really tell that starting from now on, from this episode on, we're getting everything. It's going to be, the tension will be turned up to 11. The plot is actually rolling now. And everything that happens from now on really matters. Penguin is no longer at a point where he's winning every situation. He's getting more lucky. And of course, Sophia is taking the reins of a lot of situations. And I just want to see where this is going. Let me know in the comments how you're feeling about the show. If you think it's going to keep on track or if you think it's going to screw the pooch somehow. But that's all I've got for this episode. So I will see you guys on the next one.